If you want to make a rep side, film your games. The number one question we get asked by players who come to work with us is, how can I make reps? Number one question we get asked by parents of players who come to work with us is, how can my son make reps? Now, our response is always that you need to focus on getting better and becoming the best rugby league player that you possibly can be. But if they're spending the time and the money to come and work with us, let's assume that they're already aware of that fact and they're already working on it. So the next best thing that you can do if you want to make a rep side, and it's something that I harp on continuously with all the players in our program and everyone we work with online, is that you must film your games. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that has the potential to open more doors and create opportunities for a young rugby league player than a well put together highlights reel showing off what it is that he can do. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Murphy. I co-founded League Fit Academy 9 years ago with the sole focus of educating young rugby league players about how to build their body, their skills and their mind. And we now work with thousands of players across all 7 continents right around the globe. Now, on the topic of filming your games, yes, it can be a hassle finding a camera and getting someone to film the game, but trust me that it's worth it. I couldn't even count the amount of players that we've worked with that have managed to, they've gotten trials, they've made rep sides, and even gotten themselves into NRL programs based entirely off 3 or 4 minutes worth of footage, game film. Footage put into a highlight reel of them tearing it up on the rugby league field. Think of it like this. Your highlight reel is advertising you and what it is that you can do. Back in the day, it would be like an old-fashioned business card. Next generation on, and it's like a website, yeah? People want to buy something, they go online, they search it up, and if you've got a good website, that's half the sale. And these days, with all the tech that's available to you, a good highlight reel can be something that you can send to coaches, trainers, scouts, player managers, or even your mate Steve, who has a manager. And you can get Steve to then send it on to his manager. You can look up the top 10, 20, or even 50 different rugby league Instagram pages, and you could DM them with your clip. You could even send it to every NRL player possible on socials, and maybe just the right person at the right time, they'll see it. And you'll get that opportunity that you've been looking for. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples of boys in our program and how game film got them the opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten if they hadn't filmed the games. You yourself, you might be a really good rugby league player, but you know what? If you don't film your damn game, you're not going to have any footage and you're not going to have a highlight reel. And you're going to lose an opportunity to show off what it is that you can do. Now, first player is someone who worked his backside off with us for 3 years, gained 20 kilos in the process, finally got himself into the position to be able to be picked to get a trial for SG Ball. Thing was, the trials were scheduled and then cancelled because of the second set of COVID lockdowns back in 2021. If you can remember, the lockdown went from like July to September, and he did get to play footy that year, and the footage that we got from him playing was enough that when it came time for them to pick the squad, they went entirely off his video because he wasn't even playing in that local rugby league junior district. A scout saw the highlight reel and thought, yeah, we could do with a player of that kind of size and pace in our initial squad. Fortunately, he was good enough that he ended up making that final squad, and so it was all because he simply had a highlights reel from earlier in the year that he got picked. The next story is about one of our senior academy coaches, Aaron. Back when he was SG Ball age, Aaron made the Tigers' initial SG Ball squad, only to get cut after the first external trial. I think it was against Penrith. He called me up and said, Joe, I think that's it. I think I've missed my chance. When I called around and we managed to get the year of an SG Ball coach over at the Dragons, I put together a 2-minute clip from an under-18s club game that I'd been to of Aaron's during the year. He made 4 or 5 strong runs, good leg speed, plenty of post-contact meters, and he got 3 or 4 offloads away. When we sent this to the coach, he said, I've seen enough to give him a 2-week train and trial. He then got to play in their first trial match against Norths, played well, ended up making the final squad, ended up making the starting side, went on to play SG Ball Player of the Year. 4 years later, we're all on hand to watch him play in his first NRL trial game against St Helens at WIN Stadium. Point is, Aaron thought he was done at the age of 17, and the only reason he got further with his footy was that he had footage and he got it in front of the right people. Now, don't get me wrong, if your footage is trash, it will do exactly 0. So yeah, your first step is to go out and put the work in. You actually have to be playing well, you have to be worth filming, and you have to be worth watching. But I can tell you right now, there's an absolute ton of good and even great players with heaps of talent who never got to see how far they could have gone with their footy because they weren't able to put their product in front of the right people. So how exactly do you do it? Step 1, you need a camera. Now, a lot of grounds have the auto tracking cameras set up on their fields these days, but you do have to make sure that you can actually get access to the game files yourself as a player. If the club won't share it with you, then you will have to film it yourself on your own camera. So, get a camera. Yes, you can use a phone, preferably on a tripod if possible, but I would prefer a camcorder or a camera that has an actual lens. The digital lenses on the smartphones just aren't that great. Once someone's more than sort of 40 or 50 meters away, It doesn't really work that well, but if that's all you have, then that's what you got to use. Now, please don't give me the excuse that you can't afford a camera. Almost every single person watching this is watching on a smartphone. They probably also have a PlayStation or an Xbox, and they're of an age that they could go and get a job, they could wash cars, they could mow lawns, they could flip things on Facebook Marketplace, or do whatever they need to come up with the cash. If you're already making excuses as to why you can't do this, switch off now, go back to spending all day gaming, just like the loser that you are. For everyone else, like I said, step 1 is get a camera. Now, step 2 is someone to film your game. This is usually mum or dad, it could be a brother or sister, it could be your best mate Steve. But you need to get someone reliable who can do it every week, because Lady Luck will no doubt ensure that the one game you have an absolute blinder, no one's there to film it. So you need to film all your games. Now, don't give me the excuse, can't find someone. Yes, you can, even if you have to pay your best mate Steve 10 or 15 bucks to do it, or if you have to do all of your sister's chores every single day of the week. Learn to do what's required. You'll do better in footy and you'll do better in life. All right, step 3 is to make sure that you're filming from as close to halfway as you can and from as elevated position as possible. There's nothing worse having a good game, having it filmed, getting home to watch it back, and the angle was so bad you can't actually see any of your highlights on the video. Also, if you do play on a particular edge or side, second row or center winger, set the camera up on that side and then switch at halftime if possible. Remember, we're trying to film you, not the rest of the team, okay? Of course, there's no hack when it comes to making a rep side, but the one surefire way to give yourself a chance is to film your games. It's quite often the foot in the door that you need. Oftentimes there's trials that are invitation only, and they have a section where you attach a video onto the application online. And those with the most impressive videos almost always get invited. Now, when it comes to getting a manager, a lot of player managers won't travel to just see some random player, but a 2-3 minute clip of someone showing off what it is that they can do can be watched on the manager's phone in the comfort of their own home. It opens doors. And a clip can be shared among scouts, coaches, trainers, and all over social media, meaning you can put yourself in front of as many eyeballs as possible. But it all starts with filming your games. So if you do want to make a rep side, if you do want to put your name out there to selectors all over the country, buy a camera, get someone reliable to operate it, get them positioned on the right part of the ground, and film your games. Trust me, because I'm Joe, and Joe knows.